Good evening, and we are back
Good evening.
as good enough with another episode of What is Autism? Now, we haven't done this in a while, and we have another gorgeous and talented lady with us tonight, Ursula. Nou, soos altyd sê, we gaan altyd af om te sê, oh, die mense is so nervous, die mense is so nervous. But she's
Pleasure.
just going to cruise through this. You can see she's in control. She knows
Oh,
what to
yes.
do. Yes. So after a little bit of an IT episode, so terug, we have conquered people, we have conquered, and we will be doing tonight's session. So with us tonight, we have Ursula, soos ons gesê het, en sy is van
Hi.
Autism Connect, né? So
Mhm.
2 weeks ago, we had Nicolette with us, and today we have Ursula with us, and she, as we always do on the show, she will introduce herself. So, hallo, hoe gaan dit?
Hi, Beyonce. Sorry.
Beyoncé.
That's say, opposite Beyonce. Okay, my naam is Ursula Peterson. En ek wil net eerstens baie dankie vir die voorreg wat jy vir my gee om 'n bietjie te gesels oor autism. So ja, ek werk by Autism Connect. Ek is 'n teacher. Ek geniet dit vreeslik. Vandat ek begin werk het by Autism Connect, het daai kinders my hartjies gesteel van dag 1 af. Ja,
Ag, Jesus.
ja, daar sê ja.
Ja, nee, ja. Nee, jy lyk asof jy sommer nie vanaf hulle wil weggaan nie. Daai is 'n goeie ding.
Kyk, glad nie. Dis
Daai is
my
'n goeie
hartseer
ding.
daai.
En ons het so 2 weke terug het Nicolette gesê julle gaan 'n open day hou. So aan die einde van die sessie gaan ons weer vra om julle net so weer
Alright.
deur die vir ons deur dit te vat. Wat gaan gebeur by die open day en almal daai. Maar vandag gaan ons gewoon net so eers te begin met weer eens net wat is autism? Dat is daar begin.
Okay, dis reg, ja. Okay, so my first understanding, autism is a developmental disorder, or soos baie dit sê, a brain disorder, which basically impact the child development. You know, like for example, their social interaction. They've got quite a few challenges, like also communication and their behavior. Yeah. That autism. So yeah, like I said, those are the things that is affected. Yeah.
Okay. So mostly brain.
Yeah.
And because brain come almost like navigates or tells the whole body what to do. Some of the other body functions is also being affected through it.
Yeah. And what I've learned is once you've met a child with autism, you've only met one child with autism, because each child is different. And that is one thing I've learned throughout the years. When you've met one child, you've only met one child, because each one is different.
Ons het frankly dis wat Nikki al vir ons 'n paar keer gesê het 2 weke gelede. So as a teacher, how would you manage that? Is dit difficult om dit te doen nie?
It's definitely, I wouldn't say difficult, but it is a challenge though. But it's important to know your child. So therefore, for example, for me as a teacher, I have each one in my class is different. Yeah. So I've got 6 learners, for example, and each one is different. So we basically adapt our learning program based on the child there.
Ek weet nie, is dit ek dink dit sê meer van u as 'n onderwyser as wat dit sê van die kinders. And I think we can somehow also adapt that to our normal schools. And ek sê dit in brackets that it takes a lot from a teacher to manage all these personalities in one day.
Absolutely.
And give them the best that they need. En ek meen, julle se klasse is, en ek wil nou nie vergelykings maak nie, maar julle se klasse is minder, but then I would also think it will probably be on the same level as a teacher that has 30 kids in her class.
Absolutely. I come from a mainstream. I've worked as an assistant, as a student in a mainstream where there was 30 children. And Each child is different, same,
Sure.
and you're
Mm,
perfectly right.
mm,
And I just had that. I just loved when I step into a classroom. I always look for that child that needs me the most, because
mm,
there will always be a child that has challenges, that have experienced difficulties,
mm.
and yes, there will be children that will also have learning barriers or challenges.
Sure. Yeah. So let's just, before we go into what you guys do in your facility, um how, if I we're mostly doing this for awareness, so
Mm-hmm.
what kind of signs would you say people, Nikki gave us some, um
Mm-hmm.
but she said because she's in the director's position,
Yeah.
you guys would, because you guys work with the kids, what are some of the signs that we as parents or community should look out for when it comes to, is my child perhaps autistic?
Okay, so there are three main symptoms or signs that we can look at. Those, I'm only mentioning three, and those are
Mhm.
your delayed milestones. You know,
Okay.
I've got parents that came to me and say, oh, even friends that said to me, I just
Mm,
recently spoke to one of my friends who said, my child is 3 years old and still on the diaper. My child is 3 years old and not communicating, still babbles,
mm,
and there already is a red flag. That is just one of it. It's the milestone, the delayed milestones, and then there are social interaction. We find a lot of solitary play where children play on their own, and they will just be one-sided. So solitary play is basically a child that plays on their own. I prefer to use simple words because I
mm,
do find out that a lot of people doesn't understand, and that is why we find that there are people that
mm,
is not clued up what autism is. So I try
mm,
not to use those big words. So I'll also try to explain those words that I'm using tonight here.
mm,
So that is the second one I said. And then the third one would be difficulty with communication, verbal or pre-verbal, as we call, some call it non-verbal, we call it
mm.
pre-verbal, that have
Okay.
difficulties with that here. So you will
Okay.
find where the mom said, but my child is not talking, or the child is just screaming. So there's that challenge already. The child has all the signs that to look out for. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So, and this is probably something I also pose to Nikki as well. Um, a lot of these things, milestones, communication, non-verbal, or yeah, you said, is probably also sometimes, is that also not also due to, like, as soos hulle die ou mense altyd gesê het, nee, is because hy's a boy and hy's a girl, and so there's that
Mhm.
kind of delay. So how do you differentiate between that and autistic?
Okay, so right from the start, I would always tell them, look, I'm not a doctor.
Mm,
I do not diagnose children, but you can pick up those little signs and those symptoms that you can pick up, and they already. So yes, you do see it in boys and in girls.
mm,
Uh, you know, so once you see those, it's best to then go and have the child checked out.
okay. And you do
Hmm.
that checking at a doctor, and they refer you, as Nikki said before, which is to Autism Connect or Autism Western Cape, I think she said.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Once they've done all those tests and they've seen a neurologist, they will refer them to our center or to all the other, yeah, surrounding
Okay.
areas.
Okay. And then what is it that they get at, say for instance, now we've got the diagnosis that my
Mhm.
child is on the, do you say the autism sphere or spectrum?
Spectrum,
Um,
yes,
spectrum. And
yes.
then I now come to Autism Connect, and what would be the next steps?
All right, that's where the child will be then assessed. So, of course, they go through the procedure. So, they will have like 2 weeks of assessment where the child will be placed in a classroom where the teacher will do observation. We have also our checklist that we fill in just to, get all the information. Parents fill in a baseline form, and we work with all those information that we've collected. And from there, we will be able then to yeah, tell the parent. Yeah, speak to the parent.
Yeah. And as you said, like each child then almost gets the uniquely packaged kind of teaching, if you want to put
Definitely,
it that way.
yeah. Basically, where the child. So after the assessment, you will be able to see where the child then is suitable for. So we've got four
Mm.
classes. So
Okay.
we've got the foundation phase class. We've got the intermediate class. Uh, we've got the school readiness class, of which I have. I prepare the children for big school. They go to
Oh,
Beacon or Vera or all this other Agape, all the surrounding schools in whichever is close to the area. And then we have also the tulip, which we have names for our classes. So we have the pre-vocational class. So those are our
okay.
bigger learners, our bigger learners that we have in the classroom, and we teach them ADLs and basic skills. Yeah.
So kids actually, so I don't know how this works. So I'm just gonna put it in my
Yes.
little bubble. So if I'm correct, um,
Yes.
Autism Connect is almost like the grade R, if I'm correct, and then
It's
they
like,
go to a
yeah,
bigger school. So now
that's right.
they
Yeah.
integrate to a bigger school, and then after that they go to almost like a high school.
Like I said, with the bigger children, with the pre-vocational, so they are
Mm.
skill schools. I think yeah, Mitchell's Plain, yes, and Mitchell's Place
Ah,
is skill schools for those who, are maybe not able to go to a school anymore because of where they're at. You get high function, you get low function, you get those kind of learners. So they are the Mitchell's Plain skills schools that we have here.
so
But
we have
yes,
some of the autistic children there as well.
all of them are autistic. We've got autistic kids, and with the pre-vocation, I mean, sorry, with the pre-vocational class, you get children with ID, with intellectual disability. So these are our children that have, because when our children come in, they're not just autistic; they have even autism, and maybe they have
Mm.
hyperactivity, and all of those things. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. But we have, when I said the foundation phase, we're talking about children that we learn through play in that classroom. That is the smaller ones. They learn through play. They're still sensory based. Then we go to the intermediate class, which is our Lily class, and they are still sensory based, but get a little bit of task along with that work that they get. And then they come to my, so they get prepared, they are prepared for, get ready for
Ah,
my class, which is the school readiness class. And I
yeah,
prepare them for
for
big school,
yeah
for
integration.
Beacon.
Like
There we go, yeah, for Elson schools or any other special needs schools. Yeah.
Very interesting. I never knew Mitchell's Plain Skills
Awesome.
was that is a new thing for me. Um actually Mitchell's Plain School of Skills, it's so you always hear of them, but you never
Yeah.
really know. So that will be a
Yeah.
nice interview to have with them. We have
Yes, I think you should.
one question for you. What support is there for parents with autistic children, and what skills do they need?
Um, I would say they are support. Like in our case, we do support the child holistically, which includes the parent as well. Because remember, the parent knows more about the child, so we need to also support them. We give them guidance. We give them also how to go about, advice and how to go about. There are also workshops that is offered for parents as well. Yeah.
Okay. So they also have like a counseling sessions for them where they can kind of vent and because I would assume just me being a normal able
Yes.
parent with able children, you get of those moments where you just need to go scream somewhere, and
Yeah,
then
sure. Yes, yes. I
you
yes,
offer
I
those support
completely
to
understand. Yeah.
definitely able
Well, what
kids.
we can, especially West teachers, what we do is we listen.
Okay.
We when they need to talk, we listen. We also have Autism we are affiliated or connected with Autism Western Cape, so
Okay.
they all is even there to support. They have also that support structure in place for the parent. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, yeah. Nikki also mentioned them with her interview,
Yes.
Autism Western Cape. So it would seem because they are the bigger branch, they kind of have more of these
Yes.
facilities. and you guys work with the smaller groups of people,
Yes, that's right. That's right.
and you refer back and forth, it would
There we
seem.
go. Yeah. If it's something that we can't do, we definitely do referrals. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. What are some of the challenges? I know we started up with this, when it comes to you as a teacher, with for me bringing awareness to my family and my able kids to treat these wonderful children the
Yeah.
same. And
Yeah.
now I want to mention this because when we grew up, it was like the bus, daar gaan die
Yeah.
malkinders verby.
Yeah. I
And you almost
know.
like
Yes.
that already caused that kind of a boundary or a rift between, us and them. And so you never really wanted to be affiliated with those children.
Yeah.
Um, and also, I think we a lot of bullying and things picked up, but you never knew why. You just knew that, because they are
Yes.
drooling or whatever. So you do not want to
Yeah.
be affiliated. How,
Mm.
what, how could you better equip me as a mom that can teach my children to be a little bit more well-rounded when they come across differently able kids?
Yeah. If I understand your question correctly, or what you're asking is, I've seen that happen. I've seen that many a times, and I've also heard of parents experiencing that way. Their child is not. They do experience the way the child is not accepted. Some parents don't even go out with the children. Whether it's to the restaurants or to the shop, they have huge challenge with that, and that is what we see all the time. So yeah, I would. I feel that parents, not parents, sorry, the community, that people around us need to be educated more, because that is a huge challenge for most parents that goes through that, especially children, with severe autism.
Mm.
Yeah, like
So,
when
mm,
I've seen that happen to even here in our community, our parents like, don't you want to work with just normal kids? Actually, you're so good with children. No, I choose to work with children on the autism spectrum
mm,
because they need acceptance, and a lot of parents just need, I'm not parents, sorry, a lot of our people in our community just need to be educated. So what I did was I had a workshop. So
mm,
for our community and
mm,
parents to come, and I had Autism Western Cape, and wow, what a change!
mm,
We had our workshop. I had such a great response from and feedback from people, after
mm,
they heard what autism really is. And I think that is the challenge that they face it. So, yeah.
mm. So more awareness on what it is. And I think if we can think of, like I said, now why we're talking about Mitchell's Plains schools of skills,
Hmm.
we always see it, we never know what it is. We know, well, my understanding of the school was, it's almost like, as you're not te veel gedryp het, that is the school you go to. um
Oh, okay.
so you never understood that, these are autistic children. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time was also, you kind of associate, this is how a child must look, that is
Hmm.
differently abled. And I
Hmm.
think maybe that is also things that we need to change within our community, when it
Absolutely.
comes to.
I fully
And I mean,
agree. And
yeah, now you can continue.
yeah, I feel that even our children on the autism spectrum, they don't get enough acknowledgement for even, people tend to look at what they can't do instead of focusing on what they can do. These children have potential. They are talented. I'm actually sitting with one of my kiddos, and I would love to show you this. Let me see. There we go. Her work. This is Play-Doh. And I feel that our children do not get acknowledged enough. They need
Is
to
that
be.
is that puppet's Play-Doh?
Let me bring it closer to you. This is more. I've got actually a box full of her work. So this is Play Doh, and she creates them. Nobody taught her. Uh, Nobody taught her these things. But these are the items that she created. And I
What?
feel that our children need to be exposed. We have talented autistic children, children on the autism spectrum. And she will sit, and this is a child that, for example, have difficulty sitting for longer period, but when she sits with Play-Doh, she's able
Mm.
to sit for longer period. This sets
Sure.
the tone for her. This
Mm.
calms her,
Mm.
and to do this is absolutely amazing.
Sure.
And it's just here around the corner. We don't have to look
Sure.
anywhere else. So yeah, this is also what they will see. And oh, ek is excited as ek daaroor praat. Die is wat julle gaan sien by ons open day. Haar werk.
Sure.
Sy is maar 5 jaar oud. Nee nee nee, jong, 6 jaar oud. Ja, so. Pragtig. Dink jy
She's
nie, Simone?
6. Is
6,
that
7,
child
6. Yeah.
6?
And she's doing all of this. She's fascinated with trolls, and these little figurines are trolls.
Poppy.
En sy's te pragtig. Sy's te pragtig. Daar's die naam Poppy,
Oh,
yes.
oh my word.
Just
Okay.
absolutely amazing. And then there are so many others that I can say. There is one little boy who could draw a map of his area, where he stays, and all here. But what is happening? That is where our children is. That we need to expose our children even more. And therefore, when I walk into a classroom, I first look at this string, what
Sure.
they can do, and take it from there. Because once we have that area right, the rest will follow. So I focus first on this string. We take it from the known to the unknown. The same as we do in mainstream. We take them from the known to the unknown, exactly the same. And that sets the tone for them. So when I start my class, I start off, and when we, not let me say we, because we are a center of Autism Connect,
Mm.
when we all start our day, we start with sensory play. And Play-Doh is one of it. Bubbles is one of it. So we give the learners at least 10, 15 minutes to just set the tone where they have sensory play.
Okay.
Awesome.
I feel like I need to bring my children there. That's
Please
what I
do.
feel.
Please do. They still plays. They still plays.
I
Yes,
feel
and that
that.
is that is just why we need to do this open day. It's to people are not aware, and there's so much more that we do. We have excursions like we do at mainstream. We
what
treat
what
them.
is what is
We
the
don't treat them
biggest
different.
challenge when it comes between able kids and differently able children?
Let me hear the question again. Sorry. What
What
is the
is the biggest challenge between able kids and differently able children? So, meaning, um, where do you think the issues start with? Is it with the fact, like I say, I was brought up, they're the bus girls, they are different, do not talk to them. I didn't even know why they're different. I was just told they are different, do not talk to them.
I was raised like that
And
too.
that is how I grew up.
Yeah.
When I got older, I had to work with a differently able woman. She did the
Mm-hmm.
exact same thing as I did. I called the auntie, what was her name? Ek gaan nie nou haar naam sê nie want sy maak my nie terug.
Yes.
So I called her, and then we did the same job. And there I learned that different people, some were couldn't hear properly. We all did the same job. Some didn't,
Mm,
what their legs didn't work properly. We all did the same job. And we almost learned to coexist with each other in that
beautiful.
workspace.
Yes.
But as children, so is the challenge then that the message is spread by people that should know better and allow the kids to grow up with that unknown. And that is where the indifference starts.
I could almost say, I don't think they really were clued up, and based on their ignorance, they were not aware of these things. Like I was brought up, like I didn't know anything about autism. I did not know. After I finished at college, that was the first thing I wanted to do is work with special need kids. Although I started off in the mainstream, um, not everyone is clued up, and doesn't know what autism is. And now I understand. I can sit and I was okay, yes, a child has some challenges, things like that. And once people understand, they understand so much better. Like I was afraid of special need kids. I was afraid because mom, our parents used to raise us differently. Jy weet, het jou bang gemaak, letterlik bang gemaak. Maar dit's regtig nie so nie. They are, all they need is the support, love, and also just guidance. That's all they need. And to adapt, as teachers, we adapt based on where the child is. I like that quote. Actually, I wrote it down. I simply love that quote. I just want to read it to you quickly. Um, if children if children can't learn the way we teach the way they learn. And that is my motto too. When I step into the classroom, they are my teachers. I learn from them. Because many times we think we're doing the right thing. We can do sometimes also harm if we do not listen to them, you know? So, yeah, if a child cannot learn the way we teach, we should teach the way they learn. And that is where you see results. That is where you see. If the one thing doesn't work, we kick it out.
Okay.
Mhm.
I asked this question to Nikki, and I said oftentimes when we as because we in organizations we have holiday clubs for kids, we
Mhm.
often forget about the differently abled child. Um, how and what can we do to become better in that area
Ooh, no.
as
Excuse me,
organizations? As
as an
organizations, yeah.
in
So we
general,
often,
not
yeah, in general,
yeah.
because often there's holiday clubs. We don't even think
Yes.
about a disabled child that wanna come. We
I hear you. I hear
automatically
you.
just assume it's all gonna be able children. So how
Mm.
can we do a mind shift change when it comes to that?
Really, just adapt or change. We talk about inclusive education all around, whether it's in our schools, at church. We need to adapt. We need to change. Like you get children, for example, that doesn't like loud sound, so you take your child out. And or for example, as I've known quite a lot of people that goes to church, so they have a child. I've got one family member who has a child with autism. So when they go to church, they allow him with the earphones. Can you see? So they also take him into consideration, and the child attends services. Although even with the earphones, because they do understand that he does not it cannot do with loud sounds. And same with any other place. Yeah. It's just to adapt to that. Even when we get visitors, I will always talk to them. Not everyone is glued up. We now with the COVID, we wear the mask, and communication is so important. That is already the challenge that they have. So we wear the shield for in order for the child to be able to you know,
Yeah, still
see
be
the
able to
facial
communicate.
expression and communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, facial expression. Yeah.
Okay. So even with COVID, that has put a more the challenge is as well, not challenge, but there is things that you guys also had to adapt with when it comes to communicate with the children, communicating, working with the children because due to the
Yes.
COVID protocols.
Absolutely, yes, yes. And then we also find that we have children that are unable to come due to the pandemic, due to the situation now with the COVID, where they're not able to come. So what we do is also we do home visit. We go out and visit those children that need the support, because with staying at home due to COVID, or even if it's holiday, for example, they lose out. They get setbacks because of structure. They
Mm,
are dependent on structure and routine. So
mm,
when that is thrown out, it does, yeah,
mm.
brings a lot of sort of behavior challenges that parents will experience.
Okay. 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 So what I'm picking up is these children are basically having the same behavior as my children. If they don't feel well, they throw tantrums.
There we go. Yeah. Oh yes, yes.
It's just how you handle them is different.
Yes, like any they have the same behavior. I always say when we look at a child, you get those that still up to mischief at times. It's the normal developmental milestone that we should not also forget.
Okay.
that is still there. Although there are other challenges, they may not have the one thing, but they may have. So we also have to bear that in mind. Yeah, their developmental milestones. Yeah.
The more and more I talk about autism, the more and more I get interested in this subject.
Awesome.
It's like a subject that just pulls you in slowly but surely. Because the more you find out, the more
Yeah.
X is exposed, then you find out a little bit more, then the more it's exposed. So you guys really need to, I don't know how, but do a bit more awareness around autism.
Yes, I agree.
And I also think that the face of autism needs to change.
Yeah.
Because like I said, also with depression, we all walk around with some kind of depression. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but for someone who is severely depressed, that label is placed on that person as,
Mm-hmm.
she's depressed.
Mm.
Don't talk to that one.
Mm.
She's depressed.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
you understand? And so we all,
Yes.
the same with abuse. We all go through it in subtleties.
Mm.
Um, but the main ones that this out there is like sexual. It's or that is what we
Mm-hmm.
put out there. It's the sexual is the violence. But then
Yes.
things like emotional trauma can be just so detrimental, but it doesn't have that face of, and so
Yes.
maybe the face of autism needs to
Mm-hmm.
change, and
Mm-hmm.
more things like putting up that picture of that girl with the, I wish my children could do that, would be
You will be
more of an
surprised what they can do. You will be surprised what they
yeah,
can do. Maybe not that. It could be something else. It could be
yeah,
singing.
yeah,
It could be anything. I always look for that hidden secret talent that
yeah,
they have. I'm
yeah,
always
yeah.
excited when it comes to that. Yes.
I mean, just listening to your passion, if we can get this kind of scale right, where it is not us versus them, but you guys teach us some of your tricks and uniqueness and tips, because just listening to how you handle your children, I think a lot of kids in the abled community would love that kind of attention.
Mm. Wow.
Just coming
Mm.
in and being censored, and
Yeah.
let's not think about work today for the first 10 minutes. Let's first calm yourself down. You have to travel to get to school. Let's focus. Let's bring your mind
Yes.
in.
They would
Now,
have, yes.
once you
Mm.
controlled, once you calm, now we move on to schoolwork.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of kids are missing out on that little unique treat that your children at
Mm.
Autism Connect is getting. But it's again that thing between us and them, that we don't really learn from you, and you guys don't learn from us,
Yeah.
and we're
Mm.
losing out on a lot of quality upgrades here to a
Mm.
software. But we don't want to share out our tips really.
I hear you. I hear you. Yes, and I understand that too. When it also, what I like about the parents, our parents, is when they drop their children, and this is something that I really love about our parents. They would say the child did not have a good night. He didn't sleep well, or she didn't sleep well. She was up. Oh, the child had most probably. I took the iPad and it's not in a good space today. Then we know exactly what is expected and how to handle the child, and those are
Mm,
good things. And that is how the parent again help us. So now I
mm,
know that, he or she did not have a good sleep. So
mm,
when we look at the child, we look at it holistically. I always say that
mm,
to my parent. I don't just look at the educational side. I look at it holistically. How is their health? They not all of them sleep well. They hardly sleep. Parents
mm,
also hardly get sleep in. So we look at that, and I always see also where I can help our parents, where it's just listening. Maybe they had a
mm,
difficult time, so and all I do is just listen. It doesn't matter if it's after hours.
mm,
I would do that. So in my class, so I have the school readiness class. So
mm.
it's like you say, the grade, or I
Oh,
prepare them for the for school. So
mm,
The curriculum that we use is mainly the eclectic approach, so which is a
Mm.
combination of various approach of which we
Okay.
use in our learning program, that which we adapt based on the child's need, where the child is at, where the abilities and things. So we don't want to give them, for example, if we give them, if we do a puzzle, we won't give him, if for example, where the child is at
Mm.
a 20-piece wheel, is actually able to do only maybe a 4-piece puzzle, for example,
Okay.
because it can
Okay.
become overwhelming, and
Oh
that's
me.
where the child starts having meltdowns, and you know and those are all
Mm.
the things we look at. So when we work on our planning, it is based on where our child is at. Yeah, so it's flexible and it's adaptable.
Do they also go through like these social awkwardness, like the teenage years where they get the zits and they get the moodiness and the and the bullying and the I like that
With,
one and
yeah,
do they also
with the pre-vocational class, they are bigger boys, so they do go
okay.
through that. You are absolutely right. They do go through those things. Like I said, we should not forget about the developmental milestones,
Eh.
right? They go through puberty. They do get, girls, for example, get their menstruation.
Mm.
And there are many ways in which we work through. And how do we
Okay.
help them or teach them? Is through social stories. It's just
Oh.
another method of teaching them, instead of, sometimes what we say can be so overwhelming and such a lot of information for them to grasp. So we have a social story, and make use of those and other methods. Yeah, I like the Montessori's. I like Montessori's approach and teaching style, because our children love to touch. They are tactile
Mm.
learners and
Mm.
things like,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. No, the only reason why I asked this is like
Yes.
I don't know if you ever gone through a trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people only focus on that thing that happened to you. So if you're differently able,
Mm.
people tend to like okay, so they forget you like a person. That
Yeah,
also goes through different things.
yeah,
So that is also
emotions.
the reason why I asked that. So it's nice to know that also you also have to talk about the birds and the bees with them.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
I'm sure that will be interesting topic to talk about. Um,
Yeah. You must come and visit us.
please invite me. I would
Yes, you
like to just
must.
sit there very quietly,
You
just
are
sit there.
so welcome. You are so welcome. Yes, and we
And
also
yeah,
get
the
like you.
explanation.
Yeah, and I can talk about trauma and those kind of things.
Mm,
And we do get, when somebody dies. Look in COVID, we had so many deaths happening
mm,
in families, and these are the things that happened in our family, in
mm.
our
Yeah,
autism, family,
family.
where there was loss of family members, and we see the impact it has on the child. They
Sure.
do go through the same. They do feel emotion. They just doesn't know how to express themselves. And it's often seen through their work, through their behavior. Um, there was one learner who had a death in the family, and I picked it up in the drawings.
Sure.
And
Mm,
the color that was used, and
mm,
was not, didn't want it to work, not compliant. So I did understand why,
mm,
because it was very painful for
mm.
the learner. So we also work around that. And again, social stories come, or even if you let the child just know you understand, or even, yeah, give sensory input.
Hey,
So
the
it's the
children of
same
Lis-
thing. It's the same. I hear them. I hear them.
they are blessed. I feel like now that we're looking through it through your eyes, you don't see that bus of children anymore driving. You now see the child.
Yes.
And so now you're
Yes.
looking at from their point of view and you're like, our kids are missing out. Our kids are
Mhm.
missing out on this attention. Um, what they are getting. And so
I
we
would love to go
often
back. love to
You
go
do?
back to that, to the mainstream, not back and leave my work, but just
Mm,
to visit the mainstream and say how, these things can also be implemented in a
yeah.
mainstream.
And
So many times when I came from the mainstream, when I went into my class and I felt so proud. I'm a teacher of this classroom, and my walls was full of pictures. And I had a lady, I'll never forget her, Kerry. And she's from Autism Western Cape, and she said to me, you're such an amazing teacher, but these pictures are too much for the learners. It's sensory overload. And I'm like, wow, I did not know. And when you
mm,
look at the mainstream, you see a whole lot of pictures on the wall. And that, I would say, does also apply. It can become too much for our learners,
mhm,
especially the little ones.
mm.
Too much information on the walls and things like that. So yes, I would like to give them a visit and say there's also the things that you can apply, you know and the methods that we can use.
I'm sitting here and we are in the mental space, and I'm telling myself, I'm taking notes while I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, sensory. It's not things that you don't know, but now you
Mm,
now a little bit more aware. Even with
mm,
our able kids, how can you improve just from what you've said? How to settle down, different methods to use. So just as an organization, if you're listening to this right now, and especially if you're in the mental space, there's a lot to pick up as to
mm,
how you can assist the children with
yeah,
when they come to you, trying to build that bond of trust,
yeah,
possibly. And I think that is what most of what you guys are probably getting right, is the fact that you are so concentrated on the person, and
mm,
because you're concentrating on them, everything else just has a like a ripple effect. Because
yeah,
I think in the mainstream it's like, what is your weaknesses, let's fix your weaknesses,
mm,
let's point that out, let's fix that. Where you
yes,
guys have the opposite approach, let me find your
mm,
strengths
yeah,
and let's work from there. So
yeah,
I applaud you guys. I think Nikki has done a very well job to bring you on board
yes, please.
to just
Oh,
explain. um Really, the way you explained it, your way, your passion for the kids, really well done.
and may I just
We
add, yeah, may I just add, we also work alongside speech and OT, speech therapist and occupational therapist. So, and that is also helps because we have also, besides the language communication, they also have challenges with gross motor skills and fine motor skills. So, and that you also find at the mainstream school.
mm,
So, where they maybe have difficulty putting a puzzle in place because of
mm,
poor fine motor skills. So
yeah,
we also encourage and develop and strengthen those little muscles with various activities that we do, like Play-Doh, simple
yeah,
activity that she
yeah,
does. What she doesn't realize, she learned through play.
mhm,
And most probably, yeah, it strengthened the small muscles in the fingers when using Play-Doh. And these little trolls are so cute. I mean, those small little eyelashes that is made, it's small and she's so precise and she's so
yeah.
focused on what she needs to do. Yeah. So this is also the things that
Look,
we develop.
I'm looking forward now more than ever to this open day.
Please
um
come.
oh, I think I lost you a little bit.
Oh, you did?
Are you back? Oh, okay. There you.
Yes, I'm
No,
back. There we go.
I lost your tad, but there. So I was just saying that I'm really looking forward to your open day now more than ever.
Awesome.
If you maybe can just run us through what is going to happen on that day.
Okay, so I'm so excited because we only got a few days left. We've got a lot of preparations to do, but we are excited. So there are so many things. So, like you were, I hear you interested in the sensory part of it. So
Mm,
we have a teacher that will be talking on sensory, and she's going to show you how to make those things as well. Going to demonstrate some of the things like sensory bottles, Play-Doh, you name it, she's got all
mm,
of those there. Then we have art therapy. Oh, you must come and meet Kim. She is our art therapist. So she works with our children, and our children do benefit from it. I've seen the changes. I would go around and
mm,
pop in, and wow, they are
mm,
so calm. They are able to express themselves through art. So you will see some of the work, and you will also get to see Amber's work that will also be displayed on the table,
Mm.
as well as our other learners. Like, I'm not going to mention all the other names, but yes, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. And then we have special guests, and we've got Andy.
Okay.
He is he was also the director of Play. Oh, yeah, no, hoe kan ek dit nou by die okay. Sorry, I just forgot that name now.
Uh-huh.
But Andy, he's going to teach how to use various play areas,
Okay.
um, play, this, ons ek kan nog sommer uit. Okay, so yeah, oh, vergewe my.
Nee, ek sê
Oh,
ek moet
good,
net
good.
daar beet gekry.
Is
Ons
it?
gaan ons gaan
Oh
Saterdag
my
vir hom hê.
goodness. Yes, so he's going to be there and he's going to show how to use it appropriately and effectively. The
Okay.
swing, whatever there is, he's going to show. And he is busy doing that well. So we are actually very, very happy for him for, he's busy doing structurally for us, building um, lovely play area for our learners, and they've already started playing. Then he's still busy with it, and they are enjoying it. So he will tell you more on how to use those tools effectively. Yeah. So many times we run to the park and we take our children to the park, and we
Mm.
don't even realize what we are, developing and encouraging. And they learn through all of those things, and that is what he's going to also teach
Show
us.
us
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and show, yeah. And what else is there? Let me see. Then we have Amy from Western Cape, the Western Cape Forum, and she will
Mm.
be doing the mental health.
Okay.
She will be addressing and talking to us on that. And that is what I'm looking for, because this is the month for mental health, and she will be talking on that.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, that's it. And then, of course, don't forget the food. Bring your money along.
Mees
Everybody's
belangrikste.
You know what I'm saying? So
Ja,
we'll
mees
be having
belangrikste.
also refreshments that will be on sale. What else is there? If I missed out something, you have to be
Mm.
there because there's a
We
lot
have to
going
come.
on. You have to come. You have to come. There is so much to do. So I'm actually looking forward to that as well. Yes.
Yeah, that is good. I just have one question. What is your
Yes, ma'am.
age groups that you guys are working with?
We work from 3 to and up 15. We've got a boy that is 15 years of
Okay.
age that is in our pre-vocational class. So from that age here and up.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
are, of
No.
course,
So
group. Like I said, when we do the assessment that week, when they come in, and then we will be able to see where they are more suitable, in which class they are more suitable for. Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I don't know. For I've learned a lot. I've certainly have, and I've said it again. Just for organizational work, I'm looking forward to just popping in on Saturday to see what you guys are doing. I won't probably be able to stay the whole time, but I definitely want to pop in. And I think you guys start at 10 o'clock, if I'm
That's
not
right.
mistaken.
Yes.
At 10
Yes.
till about
Yes.
3, you guys are on. So if you're in the area of Mitchell's Plain, Strandfontein, please connect up with Autism Connect. They
From 10 till 2. Sorry, from 10 till 2.
okay.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
Facebook page are on the comment sections. You can go in there and you can check out their Facebook page and everything else that is going to happen there. But again, I think the biggest awareness for us tonight is just how similar we are, as well
Yes.
as how different we are. But
Yes.
our differences match up with our similarities, and we could actually be a real benefit to each other if we could just get rid of this line between us and
Yes.
them situation.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
but again, thanks for Autism Connect for releasing you tonight in doing this interview. I know you were nervous, but I
Yes, I
think you've
was.
done a tremendous job at explaining a lot more.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we will be hopefully connecting up with some of the organizations you mentioned tonight as
Yes.
well, just to see what happens after they leave Autism Connect.
Yes.
Follow
Yes.
the journey
Yeah.
with them,
There
and
we
so that would be
go.
nice. Um,
Yes.
but definitely as a community, as parents, and I'm sorry if you're hearing my clan of people in the background here. They decided mom is done with the interview. Then
Oh,
then please, I think we should, especially as leaders of organizations, we should really connect and
yeah,
build the bridges between, because if we are not gonna do it, who
yeah,
else will?
absolutely
And so
agree.
I will step out first, and especially just because for mental health as well, like I said, I've learned such a lot by just sitting here this past 50 minutes, and listening to you as to how to center a child, and what tips to use. And so for that, I will, if the invitation is open, connect with you guys, see how
Yes,
you guys do
please.
it, and then
Absolutely.
so we better and well equipped our children for the future. But for my job as a parent would be to um explain to my child, or what is, just as you explained it today, as to what is the differences and how we should be a bit more empathetic to
Yeah,
everyone around us. And I think if we can change that image
yes.
of certain things, that would be so much better. And maybe even just do a little bit awareness about certain kids, like, what is the name with the that does the clay?
Amber?
Amber.
Amber?
Have Amber
Yes.
on the show. Let she come and talk about her
Woo!
drawings, and
Oh,
someone else come and do her drawings, and then we change that narrative of
yeah.
what we think should be.
Yeah, Amber has an
Yeah.
amazing supportive parents,
Mhm.
and they are the guy that she's pre-verbal. She does not really speak, but her
Okay.
mom and dad are absolutely amazing and guides it through this. They understand her so well. She was also just
Okay.
recently diagnosed with diabetes, and
Okay.
yeah, so she's got a lot of things going. But I am just so amazed by how well the parents are working and supporting the little
Mm.
girl. Yeah. So that the gentleman, I got his name now, Andy. He's actually
Yeah.
from Planet Kids. There we go. He's from Planet Kids,
Ah, I know
and
Planet
he there
Kids.
we go. Yeah, they are close now, but yeah, he
Yeah.
will be addressing and speaking on how to use the
Ah,
EDC
okay.
equipment. So he's also very
Yeah.
good at in that.
Yeah, I know his facility. We've been there a few times before they
Oh,
closed.
great! Lovely.
Yes.
Yes, before they
Yeah.
close. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
so definitely. Big ups to Amber's parents if they are listening.
Oh,
Well
thank
done.
you.
If ever you are brave enough to come and do an interview with me, please do. I would like to hear from a parent's point of view.
Oh.
What is your struggles? But your child, amazing.
She is, sorry.
Amazing.
She is
So,
amazing.
yeah, for everyone, we've come to our end of our interview. You made it. I just want to tell you, you
Thank
did.
you.
You made it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, thank you again for offering up your time. I think time is a big commodity that no one wants to really give up these days. But thank you for your time,
Thank you.
and just how you explained it. I think. Thank you for your
Thank
passion.
you. Thank you.
Um, that is the biggest thing that I've walked away with today. Um, and thank you for your mindfulness. That is also very, 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 yeah. If I could only have 2% of that, I would appreciate that. So thank you for being with us tonight. For everyone else that
Thank you.
joined us, thank you again.
Thank you
Is
for
there
allowing
any
me.
last words? You're not so nervous anymore? Coming back next week?
No, no. Wait, wait. Yes, let's talk about that after this. But yes, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to do this. And like I said, you're right. I was very nervous. I even said to Nikki, "Do I really have to do this?" But I'm very grateful that I did, and for in my simple way, just explaining to you what autism is and how we can help them. And I even got so excited with what we've discussed. There's so many other stories that I can talk about. We have, a lot of people overlook these things, but we've got maths fundis. I have a learner in my class that counts up to 100, can identify numbers up to 100, things like that. Then there are a child in the intermediate phase that can read, very small boy, 4 or 5, he can read. So when we communicate with him, teacher writes on the hand a word and he reads it. So if, for example, sit down, he will read and immediately sits down. He is a very good reader and he reads very, very well. Every word. If we said like the word screening on our screen, he would read that. Absolutely
And
amazing. And there's so much more talent
he's
in
how
that
old?
place.
How old is
He
he?
is He's 4 5, if I'm correct, 4 5 years, and he reads so well. So all our children want is the acceptance and to be treated. They are different, like I always say, but not less. They're different, not less. Yeah.
Julle kan 'n oppelbreek, ja. Is fine.
I just love that. Oh my word!
Ons se kinders doen
All
ook okay,
thanks
moenie
to
worry nie. Ons se kinders
They
doen ook
are.
okay.
They are doing. And I'll come and check up on them as well. So, all thanks to also an amazing staff that we have, amazing dedicated teachers, with also a lot of training. We don't always have all the answers, we don't always know everything, but we always open to learning. So, we have our weekly workshop that is presented by Ursula. So I do give them a little bit of workshop or presentations. I think I'm going to stop now. You make it so easy for me.
Ah, that is good.
Um,
I mean, that is good.
great.
Um, yeah, ek weet nie. I'm more amazed with this whole thing. I feel like next week we must have another autism another autism topic. So, yeah.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Definitely eye opener, if not ever. Eye opener. I will definitely send your contacts whoever else. And just that last bit that you said is we don't know everything. Um and we don't always want to know everything, but we find a way to know it and to make it better for our kids. And if
Yes,
we as parents, as community leaders, can just do that,
there
not
we
know
go. Yeah,
everything,
yeah. Never come
just
to a point where
listen.
you learn too much. Yeah,
There we
exactly.
go. The world will be a better place. So,
Amen to that.
um, we will be following Autism Connect's example from you on out.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no, no break, mense. But we've come to the end of this conversation.
Thank you
I
so
wish you
much,
guys
Beyond.
well
No?
for
Thank
the
you.
rest of your week. Please keep
Thank you, ma'am.
safe.
Thank you,
Keep
ma'am.
sane. Definitely keep sane.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and just enjoy life.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Beyond Niva. There you go.
Beyonce, her
Beyonce, there you
cousin.
go. Here we go. Have a good night, Therese, and a good week for you
Uh,
ahead. Okay,
Thank you
bye
so
bye.
much, ma'am. Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye bye.